The grass is always greener. We spend so much time chasing happiness, we forget that contentment is what really matters. Contentment is not flashy. It doesn't surge through your body like a sugar rush or flood your brain like a giant dopamine hit from winning the lottery. Contentment is quieter than that. It's more like the feeling you get after a walk in the woods or the soft satisfaction of finishing a good book. It's a sigh, not a shout. And here's the truth: contentment is what actually makes us happy, not the other way around. Let's start with a simple principle. You can't be truly happy if the people around you are discontent. We're social beings. Our nervous systems are wired for attunement and empathy. That means if your neighbor is suffering, you feel it, whether you know it or not. Your contentment is connected to theirs. And in a society that thrives on competition, that's a dangerous truth. Because happiness, as we've come to define it, isn't just elusive, it's a moving target. In a competitive economic system, happiness is always over there, always in someone else's possession. We're told we'll be happy when we get the next promotion, the bigger house, the newer phone. But once we get those things, the bar moves again. The economy thrives on our discontent. So, maybe it's time we stopped buying what they're selling, redefining God and happiness. Let's take a radical detour. What if we thought of God not as an external figure wielding judgment and control, but as something quieter, something within? If being God-like means having the power to manipulate others in the name of a grand plan, well, we've seen where that leads. Technology, science, do-gooders with imperial dreams, all in the name of improvement. And yet the result is often more suffering. But what if God is something else? What if divinity isn't power but peace, not control but contentment, a kind of centeredness in one's own being, a reverence for the uniqueness of your perception? In this reframing, the sacred isn't something we impose on the world, but something we uncover within it. Like contentment, God becomes less about changing others and more about accepting ourselves and our place in the larger web of life. Ecosystems already understand this. Every being has a niche. No one species tries to dominate the whole forest. They live in dynamic balance. Some flourish for a time, others decline, but each has a role. Each being matters, not because it's the strongest or most productive, but because it belongs. Letting go of the happiness script. We're not raised to think this way. Most of us grow up believing that the goal is to be happy. But happiness, as sold to us, is a consumable. It's part of the economy of more. It's big dopamine, pleasure with a half-life. That new car smell fades, the vacation ends, the thrill of the like on your Insta post wears off. And what's left? Usually a craving for more. That craving is what keeps the gears turning in a consumerist society. If you're not always slightly unhappy, slightly insecure, slightly lacking, then you're not buying. And if you're not buying, well, someone's stock price might fall. The system is rigged to make contentment seem lazy or passive. But in truth, contentment is revolutionary. The paradox of more. Think about it. The more we focus on trying to be happy, the less content we become. It's like chasing a horizon. You never get there. In fact, the faster you run, the further it seems to move away. What we need isn't more happiness. What we need is to slow down and find contentment in what's already here. Here's a practice. Notice something small. Really notice it. The way sunlight pools in the corner of a room, the sound of your dog's breathing as she naps, the taste of your morning coffee, not just the caffeine buzz, but the actual flavor. These are qualia, the subtle qualities of experience that come to us through our senses and our mind's interpretation of them. They don't announce themselves with fanfare, but they're there, offering themselves to us constantly. All we have to do is pay attention and reflect with gratitude. This is the essence of being qualiadelic. It's a term that might sound abstract, but it simply means honoring the felt quality of life. Instead of pursuing outcomes, it invites us to dwell in experience. It's about shifting our focus from having to being, from owning to witnessing, from craving to savoring. The addictive landscape. Let's not pretend this is easy. We live in an addictive human landscape. Big dopamine rules the day. Social media, fast fashion, streaming everything. Our economy isn't just built on stuff, it's built on addiction. The need for constant stimulation, the fear of missing out, the craving for validation. It's exhausting, and it's making us sick. But here's the thing, we're not broken. We're just wired for survival in a world that no longer aligns with our deeper nature. Our ancestors evolved to notice changes in the environment, a ripe fruit, a predator, a signal in the stars. Now those same instincts are hijacked by notifications and advertisements. Our inner compass still works, but it's been magnetized toward the artificial. To find our way again, we need to unplug from the addiction machine and tune back into the rhythms of real life. That's where contentment lives, not in the noise, but in the quiet between distractions. Status, reimagined. A lot of our unhappiness comes from comparison, from status anxiety, from feeling like we don't measure up. But what if we're measuring the wrong things? Right now, status is often tied to wealth, beauty, fame, productivity, none of which are inherently bad, but all of which are external. They require validation. They depend on others seeing and affirming our worth. Contentment, by contrast, is internal. It doesn't care who's watching. It doesn't seek applause. It's more like a candle than a spotlight. It warms from within. So what if we redefined status? What if we celebrated grace, humor, attentiveness, creativity, kindness? What if the highest form of success was simply knowing how to be at home in yourself? What if our heroes weren't the richest, but the most rooted? Conscious ritual and the art of enough. Contentment can be cultivated. And one of the most effective tools is conscious ritual. Not necessarily religious ritual, but personal, practical, soulful habits that bring you back to yourself. Light a candle before dinner. Pause before you speak. Thank the tree whose fruit you eat. These are small acts, but they change your nervous system. They create space for gratitude. And gratitude is one of the fastest ways to rediscover contentment. Another practice. Go a whole day without buying anything. Just use what you have. Eat from the back of your fridge. Walk instead of drive. Wear your oldest clothes. Notice what it feels like to let enough be enough. This isn't about deprivation. It's about liberation. When we stop needing more, we become rich in a different way. Rich in time, rich in presence, rich in meaning. The qualiadelic economy. All of this points to a new kind of economy, not one based on scarcity, but on sharing, not on competition, but on contribution. A qualiadelic economy is one where the currency isn't money, but meaning. In this world, we value experiences over things, relationships over rankings. We pay attention, and that attention becomes a kind of wealth. We honor each other's stories. We give our gifts freely. We recognize that qualia, those subtle textures of being, are the true treasure. And because qualia is not consumable, it doesn't run out. In fact, the more we share it, the more it grows. A story told becomes a memory shared. A kindness given becomes a seed in someone else's garden. This is not utopia. It's biology, it's ecology, it's human nature remembered. Contentment is a political act. To choose contentment in a world of craving is to be subversive. To say, I have enough in a culture built on endless desire is to reclaim your soul. It's not complacency, it's clarity. Contentment doesn't mean you don't want to change the world. It means you're not trying to fill a hole in yourself by changing it. You act not out of lack, but out of love, not out of anger, but out of alignment. And the amazing thing? When we stop needing so much, we free up energy to give more, more compassion, more creativity, more care. This is how the world changes, not through conquest, but through contentment. A final word. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be happy all the time. You just have to return over and over to the place where you can breathe, to the place where you notice, to the place where enough is plenty. Contentment isn't the end of the road. It's the ground we walk on. Let it hold you. Let it guide you. Let it grow.